Out here, the West ain't just dust and smoke, it's blood, betrayal, and legends carved in iron. These are the forgotten tales of outlaws, lawmen, and drifters chasing gold, vengeance, and redemption. Welcome to Dust and Iron Tales. The salt flats sparkled under the relentless New Mexico sun, and icy ocean frozen in time, stretching flat and featureless to the horizon except for the towering salt crystals that cast jagged shadows in the heat waves. Anna the Salt Haze drove her massive 6-horse freight wagon with a dexterity that defied the towness, whispered, her hands firm on the reins as the earth trembled beneath her wheels. Ever since the drought dried up the lake bed, she'd become both protector and provider for her family's legacy amidst the barren, blinding expanse. Her eyes darted ahead, watching for dust devils gathering like silent predators they could rise suddenly, spinning fury that might double her precious cargo or send her spiraling into the rocky depths below. She knew these flats better than anyone, every crack, crevice, and subtle shift in the terrain. She'd learned to read the land like an ancient language. Tonight, her last load of salt was heavy, almost unbearable. Yeah. She drove with the purpose that this was her final shot to clear her debts. To Croft, the ruthless lone shark who only cared about draining her dry and seizing her claim as spring water, the only live iron beneath her land. Croftess enforcer, the shadowy drover, waited silently, a menace cloaked in stillness, lurking behind his false calm, knowing that if he succeeded, the spring would be his. Unnoticed beneath the wagon's gleaming undercarriage, little Jimmy clung desperately to a rusted leather Bible. Dirt smudged across his face, trembling with fear and hope. The boy's quiet sobs were muffled, but his wide eyes betrayed a world of silent screams. He was not fleeing the law, but running from monsters far worse, clinging to the promise of safety made by Anna's husband, a man who'd once spoken of kindness and trust. As Anna crested a rocky ridge, a sudden gust kicked up a swirling dust devil, circling wildly like a vengeful spirit, and she gripped her reins tighter, sensing the danger. Behind her, the drover crept, fingers closing around the stolen wrench meant to sabotage her. Wagoness heavy braking an act that would turn her last run into a death plunge. Storming across the pass, Jimmy's hand jerked wildly at the Bible, his trembling fingers catching a glimpse of a faint, etched map hidden beneath the leather cover. The reflection from the polished soul crystal shimmered in his eyes as he pointed frantically at the tiny, drawing an outline of mountains, a silver mine, a secret cache that was never meant for the world. Anna saw the boy's trembling gesture and realized she was staring into her past husband's old partner. Jimmy's father had hidden something valuable beneath this sort of vault of silver bed, near the spring, a treasure that could change everything or lead to ruin. The realization ignited a fiery resolve within her. She would die before letting Croft take her claim or the boy's truth. With her knowing intuition, and engaged the weight of her salt load, and in a sharp decision, she used her wagon's momentum to wedge the entire load into the narrow pass, locking the way in a wall of shimmering white. Dust and salt billowed into the air as the wagon lurched, teetering dangerously, its brakes on the verge of failure, yet her eyes stayed fixed on the shadowy figure of the drover helpless behind her makeshift barricade. The battle intensified as the drover lunged, trying to cut the brake cable, but Anna was quick as she yanked the reins, sending the 6 horses into a fierce surge that pulled the wagon free, momentum hurling her down the mountainous incline with sulphine like deadly glitter. Her fingers trembled on the reins, praying her makeshift trap would hold just long enough. Jimmy's panicked eyes found their voice, not in words but in trembling silence, as the boy finally grasped the truth. She was fighting for all of them, for a future built on trust, not secrets. Tears streaked down his dirt-smudged face, yet his silent hope steadied her resolve. Near the jagged edge of the rocks, Anna finally saw her chance, using the creek assault as a shield. She spun her wagon in a final, desperate maneuver, knocking the drover off balance and onto the jagged stones. With one last burst of speed, she hurtled into town, her pulsing heart a drumbeat echoing her victory and her sacrifices. In the town's dusty square, she handed over her last coins to Croft, her voice steady despite her aching limbs, and displayed the proof of the spring's pristine water enough to buy her freedom and a new loan on honest terms. The last load of salt, once a symbol of her debts, had become her salvation, her shield, and her inheritance. As night fell over the salt flats, she wrapped little Jimmy in her coat, offering him a promise of stability and family, one built not on vanished silver but on trust, kindness, and unshakable resolve. The boy's trembling silence finally broke, a faint, tentative voice slipping from his lips as he whispered, "Thank you." And Anna knew in that moment she'd saved much more than salt or land. She'd reclaimed her own destiny. GSI shimmered with a depth that spoke of battles fought within and beyond, and Anna felt the weight of his gratitude settle into her bones. The dim lantern flickered, casting shadows that danced like memories long buried, yet now awakening anew. She thought about the choices that had led her here, to a brink where hope flickered weak but stubborn, refusing to die. Slowly she took a step closer, feeling the crackle of anticipation in the cold night air. "You don't have to thank me," she murmured, her voice trembling but steady. "Sometimes all it takes is daring to believe in a different ending." His hands moved to his pockets, clutching something small and one, perhaps a token of lost years or a promise kept. And his mind raced through the possibilities, wondering if his gratitude carried more stories than words could tell. Somewhere inside her, a fiery resolve sparked, igniting her purpose like a blade sharpened just for this moment. They stood there in the silent hum of dusk, two souls bound by silent pact and shared hope. The wind whispered secrets they would carry forward, stubborn and unbreakable. For the first time in a long while, Anna felt her own heartbeat align with something larger, an uncharted course she was ready to navigate. She looked at her, eyes bright with unspoken promises, and Anna knew this was only the beginning. Her destiny, once obscured by doubt, now shimmered clearer than ever, calling her to embrace whatever came next. Her heart raced with a strange mixture of fear and excitement, each beat echoing the newfound certainty within her. The path ahead was no longer shrouded in shadow. It sparkled with possibility, like a star lighting up a midnight sky. She took a tentative step forward, then another, feeling the ground firm beneath her resolve. Memories of doubt flickered like distant storms, but they had faded into the background, replaced by a steady, glowing conviction. Every hurdle she'd faced had carved her into someone more resilient, more ready. There was a whisper in the wind now, urging her onward, promising that beyond fear lay growth and wonder. Her eyes caught a glimpse of the horizon, where a faint glow beckoned her to explore. With a deep breath, she gathered her courage and embraced the uncertainty, knowing it was part of her journey. The wind seemed to carry her forward, whispering tales of those who dared and thrived. She felt the weight of past hesitation replaced by a luminous sense of purpose. As she moved deeper into the unknown, her spirit soared, unshackled by doubt's reign. Each step felt like a declaration that her story was hers to write. Fearless and free, the universe responded with a silent applause, welcoming her into a future she was finally ready to embrace. A smile touched her lips, bright and genuine, as she stepped into the dawn of her destiny. A gentle breeze rustled the hem of her dress, carrying whispers of the adventure that awaited. She paused momentarily, gazing at the horizon where the sky blushed with streaks of amber and rose. Every step she took resonated with a newfound confidence, as if the universe itself was cheering her on. The path before her was uncharted, yet she felt an undeniable pull, a magnetic force guiding her forward. Her heart fluttered with anticipation, memories of doubt dissolving into the background. Behind her, the shadows of yesterday receded, replaced by the promise of possibility. She reached a small hilltop and sat down, taking it all in the vast expanse of promise stretched before her. With a deep inhale, she let go of lingering fears, filling herself with hope instead. The sun crested the horizon, bathing her in golden light that seemed to pour from the heavens. In that moment, she realized that her journey was no longer about discovery, but transformation. Emerging from the morning-esque glow, she knew she would face challenges, yet now she welcomed them. Her smile deepened, reflecting a soul unwavering in its purpose. She rose, steady and inspired, ready to carve her story into the sprawling canvas of the day. Every step she took from that point onward was imbued with intention, carving her legacy into the dawn. With her eyes fixed on the horizon, she whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning." A breeze tugged softly at her hair, tugging her into a contemplative silence. The sun dipped lower, staining the sky with streaks of orange and purple, as if painting the backdrop of her future. Shadows stretched long across the desert floor, each reminding her of the journey left behind. Despite the weight of uncertainty, a spark of determination flickered within her chest. She remembered all the times she had doubted herself, only to rise stronger each time. Turning away from the fading light, she took a deep breath and stepped forward, her boots crunching softly on the gravel. The distant mountains beckoned, their peaks cloaked in mist and mystery. In her mind, she pictured the possibilities ahead, new friends, challenges, discoveries, and felt the thrill ripple through her. Her hand instinctively brushed the leather strap of her satchel, a talisman of her unwavering resolve. She knew the road wouldn't be easy, but that only made the reward sweeter. The night air grew cooler as stars blinked into existence overhead, a silent chorus of hope. Her heart pounded with anticipation, echoing the rhythm of her footsteps. Every scar on her body told a story of battles fought and lessons learned. She paused briefly, gazing up at the vast, endless sky, feeling infinitesimal yet profoundly connected. A sense of purpose settled over her, steady and unshakable like the mountains in the distance. She whispered once more, almost as a vow, "This is only the beginning," before tightening her cloak and moving toward the horizon's edge. The world around her shimmered with possibility, whispering promises only the brave dared to chase. With each step, she carried the weight of her dreams, forging a path that was uniquely her own. The night embraced her, silent and vast, ready to witness her unfold her story. Under the tender glow of the moon, she stepped onto the dew-kissed grass, her footsteps whispering secrets to the earth. The stars blinked quietly, as if eager to listen to her tales, ancient and new. She reached into her pocket and found the small, worn photograph that had traveled with her through countless nights like this. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying with it the scent of jasmine and distant ocean waves. She sat down on the log, eyes fixed on the horizon where darkness and light danced in a delicate balance. Her breath formed clouds in the cool air, each exhale a soft protest against the silence. With a slow smile, she began to whisper a story, words flowing like a stream through the stillness. Memories flickered in her mind, moments of joy, lost hope, and redemption all woven into the fabric of her night. The shooting star streaked across the sky, and she made a silent wish, feeling the weight of her dreams lift for just a moment. The night wrapped around her like a favorite old blanket, comforting and unchanging. Somewhere nearby, an owl hooted softly, marking the passage of time with its haunting call. Her hands traced the edge of the photograph, feeling the crinkled lines and faded colors, anchoring her to the past.